Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How's it going?
Hi.
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 Good. How are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah, good. I'm in holiday mode, so yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just, another holiday.
I know.
Another holiday.
So many.
Yeah.
So
Last day. What
many.
we're gonna be off for like 1.5 week.
Yeah, 9 nights, 10 nights, something like that. So yeah.
So the Intercept do this unlimited holiday stuff? Is that what's going on here? Or is that why you get so many holidays? Or?
I know. I think this guy's got some perks somewhere that I don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Hooper impact, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently so. No. Do enjoy your holiday though. Next week.
Yeah, we'll do.
Next
Yeah,
week is gonna
flying
be
out
just
tomorrow
calm.
morning.
Where are we
Early,
going
I
again?
heard.
Mm-hmm.
Disneyland again, or Disney World, or Disney something?
Disneyland. Well, it's LA, so Disneyland, Universal, and some sightseeing.
Awesome.
Yeah, should be
Nice.
good.
Oh, yeah.
Just gotta
not
hope the
jealous at all.
back stays okay.
Yeah. And it should remain okay for some time after that because then we got Paris.
Yes,
That's right.
KubeCon in
Are you
Paris.
back and then straight to KubeCon, or?
Yeah, I got like a week
Like-
or two, and then
yeah.
KubeCon.
Nice.
Could have been MVP Summit and then KubeCon, but I had to pick one, so I chose KubeCon.
Yeah. I'll
All right.
not take notes and not break any NDAs at Summit, but I'm looking forward
Alright.
to Summit now, I have to say.
Good.
That's
Good.
good.
And how's your week been then, Karl?
My week's been busy. Just still working with the vendor and their API application suite. So yeah, we're getting through the testing. Most of my involvement is done because it's now like app level and API level stuff. Also still working on AKS architecture for the entire group for my client, which is interesting. Lots of cool architectural diagrams. So just now putting the words around those diagrams, which is arguably more difficult. So, but yeah, I mean it's been a busy week. But yeah, good. What about yourself?
Meeting. I had lots of meetings this week, last week. Yeah, lots of meetings. But
Nice.
no, it was fine. Did write some code, but not a lot. Been doing lots of refinement this week, setting up some stuff for Richard and I, and mentally preparing for Richard to be gone for 1.5 weeks. That took quite some effort.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so,
no, it was,
so you're the go-to guy now for the next week and a half. Then, is that right?
Yeah.
Take your phone with you, Richard. Take your phone with you.
Yeah.
No, don't.
Laptop
Don't.
staying. Phones with me.
Labs
Listen,
Nah,
I think
nah.
you can still log into the kubectl on your phone. Like,
Yeah.
I think it can happen.
Especially because I got one of those foldable ones, so
Yep.
I've got a massive screen that you can.
You can change
work on.
the code in the repo and like GitOps take care of the rest. So I
Yeah,
mean, you can do that from
exactly.
your phone, right?
Yep.
I'm not sure your wife would be pleased, but it could happen.
Review some pull requests and that whilst going around on the rides at Disney. Yeah, it'll be fine.
I could see that happening.
Yeah. Big Thunder
there is
Mountain. Whoa.
Oops.
Well, speaking of that, we had some repos that we worked on internally, and then we added code owners.
Yes, we
It's
did.
basically Richard and myself. So there's nothing business critical, but there's some stuff where, need to think about that in the future.
Mm-hmm. This way we can ensure it's a good code base because we're trying to productize it, so it's fun.
Yeah. I never really used. Almost ashamed to say it. I never really used code owners in GitHub, but it works really well.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. So what about your week, Richard?
So I got a haircut because I'm going on holiday.
Yeah.
And done some bicep, obviously, because that's what I do. Yeah, I do need to get rid of this afternoon.
I was looking at myself.
All right, yeah.
Well, for me,
yours is what, 2 months?
Yeah, that's
growth there. Yeah,
lads.
I was gonna say 2.5 weeks, man. You're gonna.
Oh, sorry.
I don't grow a beard easily. Like, not at
No.
all. You could grow it for half a year, and you'd still think,
It's the blonde hair, mate.
Yeah.
man, it's
So-
my youth.
Aye, okay.
To be young again.
All right, sorry, go on. You're weak.
But yeah. So just working on some bits with you to get some bits done. Lots of handovers, trying to get some bits and pieces, projects finished, and then hand it over to other people for when I'm away. But it's been good. It's been good. Lots of fun bits and pieces as well as trying to get everything done.
All right.
Oh, and I even
Good.
managed to write a blog post as well.
Oh, you did on SSH disabling that. Who's got Teams open?
Yeah, sorry about
And I think, bing. All right. No.
Disgraceful.
Yes. Shame on you. Shame.
that. It's been a bad morning. Okay, right there. Teams is closed.
Oh, you want to share something about your bet? No, never mind. We're gonna look at some news. Where's my banner? Where's my brand thing? There we go.
I mean, we're
I'll
really
give it-
professional around here. We know exactly what's going on. So thanks for joining us.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Before we go to the news, there was a question about content calendar and agenda for the upcoming.
From
Yes.
Alan, right?
Yes.
Yep. And I worked on that past weekend. Created GitHub pages. Need to play with it a little to make it nice. We're using a Docusaurus because I really like that product. By the way, I never used it, but it looked very cool. So we're
Nice.
creating a content calendar, and we also had an idea to create an iCal file, so y'all can put this in your calendar and never miss a show again. So did work on that.
Good work, man. Good work.
Next is the URL shortener.
Yeah. It's
All
really
right.
required.
Yeah.
All right,
let's-
Cloud Native News.
Sure.
And we got some news today.
Yeah, we do. What's
Yep.
first?
Let's start with I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a cool product. Strimzy. We say Strimzy?
I think that's what we'll call it. Strimzy. If anybody wants
Strimzy
to
sounds
correct
good.
us, please do.
Strimzy. We go with Strimzy. So recently became a CNCF incubating project. And what it is, well, it's an operator on Kubernetes to deploy and manage Kafka. I'm not sure if any of you ever managed or deployed Kafka on Kubernetes or Kafka in general, wherever, even just on Linux with zookeepers and I don't know, all the components you need and maintain that. Not the best experience. It can be quite some work, but Strimzy out of the box managed Kafka with kubectl as well. Shows you how extensible Kubernetes is, right? That's good.
Nice.
Very nice project. I haven't played with it myself. I did watch the video and read some documentation. It looks very good. Up until now, I did a lot of HD insights when customers wanted Kafka, because that's also an out-of-the-box solution that you can play with. But this might be the go-to solution once I've tested it and liked it. But if I did, I'll do a session in 10-minute tech on it.
Nice. That'd be good.
And actually make it to the Friday for the demo. Yep.
Yes, Karl.
Yeah. Sorry.
I
folks.
wasn't going to say anything. All right. So next week we have season 2, episode 4, Sailing the Ship Home to Harbor, take 2.
That probably requires a bit of explanation. But basically, in short, I screwed up my demo and deleted the cluster in bad temper about half an hour ago. So that's why we don't have a demo this morning or this afternoon. Tune back in next week.
How do you delete a cluster in bad temper? When I've got bad temper, I'd start throwing my mouse or something.
Well, I don't really want to
You-
break the
you
stuff
delete
that's in
clusters.
this room because I have to pay to replace the stuff in this room. So just delete the cluster because it
But-
wronged me.
I would do the same because they're so easy to redeploy usually, unless you're doing some crazy demo like Karl is doing. Hopefully,
Yeah. So
yeah.
anyway, tune
It's-
back in next week where the demo will actually happen. So
But it's all right.
It
We've got
happens.
something else to fill the space, so it's
Plenty of
we're
yes.
not just going to stop.
plenty of discussion. Yeah, and
I think
end of
we're gonna
show,
have.
see you later.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have trouble staying within time with all the stuff we want to talk about.
Yes.
All right.
What's next before we go into the controversial topics?
All right. I think next up is Azure Quick Review, which is your one,
Yes,
Wesley, right?
yes. Yeah. Can we put up my? Can someone do the ClickOps thing?
There you go.
You guys are awesome. So this has been out for a while. Azure Quick Review. You can run from Azure CLI, connect to a subscription, and get us recommendations, best practices. It's a very extensive list. And I was looking into automating some more reporting. Richard pointed this out to me probably the minute after it was released. So it was still somewhere in the back of my head, like, hey, we need to take a look at that. And then I found once you run it, it even creates a Power BI report. I mean,
Very
if you
nice.
are wanting to do a scan, whether it's your own environment or you're a consultant, and you need to take a look at a customer environment, just run this. A lot of resource providers are supported, so it also looks at some specific resources. There's a list of providers it supports, but also pulls, the recommendations, the advisor, and cost. Well, this is a sponsored subscription, so cost is going to be empty. However, I mean, look at that. That's out of the box. I'm not a Power BI hero, and I think, well, maybe we can change this and that a little bit or do something, but it's based on a CSV file, which is generated when you run this. You can scope it to your subscription, even to a resource group, if you just want to look at a specific resource group. But it comes up with some good stuff, gives you some good insights without having to, click into each and every individual feature in the Azure portal. Recommend it even tells you something about SLA, I think. It said something about my SLA. There's something here. Oh, look, this is the SLA you'll get based on configuration and that kind of stuff.
That's nice.
Services, recommendations, like top recommendations. You should have this and that. So what you could do if you're writing a report, and I mean, if you want to start your business in recommending Azure stuff and you use this, what you want to do is, group stuff, group everything in terms of reliability, write something for the customer, show some examples. Do that. That's a great tool. It's easy. It's not overly complex. It's not bloated with features you don't need. It's just to the point. I like it.
Awesome.
I like it.
Must
Very
check
nice.
that out.
Oh yeah, definitely check that out. It's very good. Azure Quick Review runs from Azure CLI. Once you're logged in, it's fine.
Check it out on GitHub at github.com/Azure/AZQR.
And if
All
you
right.
like it, start a repo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next up, back to cloud native news. Public preview of regional DR by Azure Backup for AKS. I know we have Michael Cade in the audience, so we won't spend too much time on this because we love casting or casting or however, K10. K10.
Yeah, K10.
Michael, you're really going to have to tell us how to say that, right? But yeah, regional DR for by Azure Backup for AKS. So it's the more we run stateful workloads and data workloads and stuff inside of AKS clusters and inside of Kubernetes clusters in general, the more we need backup for that. So check that out. No link in this news item because the link was huge, but check out the Azure updates page for more information.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. And then next up, we have a more public preview around control plane metrics being exposed now in Managed Prometheus for AKS. So, I mean, that's
Which
going
is
to be
really
pretty,
cool to see.
pretty interesting. So, I mean, what are we talking about here? etcd metrics, what else? API metrics.
Yeah, pretty much that kind of stuff. It's good. I think most of the other clouds already have this, so it's good to see Azure finally getting it as well. But yeah, it's only in public preview, so do it on your dev test clusters. Don't do it in production just yet because things could go wrong.
All right, and yep. Now we're into the controversial stuff. Let me get that banner. I would thank Wesley for this banner, folks. But if you've been about the socials the last few days, the big question on everybody's mind is Linkerd or Linkerd don't.
Yes, good question.
I'm
I like
gonna find a job in marketing.
it. Was it not ChatGPT?
No, mate. This was all me.
This was all you. Okay, cool.
All me.
Okay, so it, it doesn't feel like that long ago that we were having similar discussions around Terraform pulling
Mhm.
this sort of act, where we move from an open source license to a, like, was it source available or business source or
Oh, the
some sort of
BSL
business, right?
license. Yeah.
Yeah.
BSL, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think that it's strictly BSL for Linkerd. I think they have their a custom license that they're calling like Linkerd Enterprise License or something. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but effectively, it's for organizations using Linkerd that are above 50 users. You're going to have to start paying to use it. So they're not going to release the the image artifacts or the stuff
Helm
anymore,
charts,
Helm
all
charts or
gone.
anything like
Yeah.
that. Now, there was an interesting discussion around this the other day that suggested that it's still got an Apache OSS licensing, so you can still go and compile it yourself. But honestly, folks, who has time for that? And
And
who has time? Go ahead, Richard. You're probably
I
about
was
to
just
say
going to
what I was
say,
about to say.
yeah, that they're pushing all changes to the main branch now. So who's going to have the time to understand and
pick.
cherry pick the branch,
Yeah.
the commits you need to actually build a secure, stable application now?
So what do we think?
Well, for me, this one hits close to home because I absolutely love Linkerd. We even did a session on Linkerd in this show
Yeah.
last year. It was
I have a t-shirt and a hat and everything for Linkerd.
yeah, well, don't wear it in public now. But
Yeah, exactly. Might get
no,
lynched.
it's difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand the reasoning, obviously, because I haven't taken time to read if they've released reasoning behind the move or whatever. But I mean, they're a CNCF project, right? So they're
Graduated as well. I think.
graduated. Yep, they're
Yep.
meant to be open source. They're meant to be community backed. They're meant to have community of contributors, not just one organization dictating how things are operating. So if they're closing shop like that, what does that mean for their CNCF membership? And if it doesn't mean anything for the CNCF membership, what does that
What
mean?
does that mean?
Exactly. What does that mean for the rest of the projects that we know? And we'll get on to another one of them in a few minutes. But what does that mean for all of the other projects that we're using within the CNCF? Is there then a risk in this open source or cloud native community that suddenly the rug would be pulled out from under us, and licensing costs would suddenly go through the roof if we're using some of this stuff in production?
And
I
what
think
is 50
we might see it
users?
more. The company has to have 50 employees, not users.
Oh, employees.
Employees, yes. But how do they check that? I don't know. Is it a good faith?
on LinkedIn?
It's the honor system like Docker, right?
Maybe, yes. Checking LinkedIn.
Check on LinkedIn.
Calling the LinkedIn APIs. Oh, let's check the employee base. Maybe.
Oh, LinkedIn, Linkerd, why not?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a controversial topic number one. We got another one.
Oh, hang on. Michael Cade. I would not be building my environment or platform on open source. But is that not what we're all doing if we're building everything on top of Kubernetes, Michael?
I think there's he makes a very good point. Next to all of these projects have a company behind them, and I think that's also the power of CNCF. When you go check the landscape, you can see how it's backed by a company and that there's funds and it shows you that there's continuity and development and innovation.
But it's not meant to be just those companies, right? It's meant to be a community of contributors, not just single source of folks coming from one company.
Well, yes, and I think what's going to be interesting in general is if you look at CNCF, and so this is happening to Linkerd, Terraform had something, and we've got another
And then we had
project, or two more
Weaveworks,
projects.
which went gone altogether as well.
It's not necessarily. I mean, maybe you shouldn't even say whether it's good or bad, but it's certainly interesting development and how the world is going to deal with that. Because I do agree with what Michael is saying. If you look at, very very open source somewhere in a repository in the dark places on GitHub that's being maintained by one or two people, I would certainly not build my commercial production platform based on that. So that there's a point to that.
And there are anecdotal cases where big companies like AWS or Amazon or whatever have built stuff on top of little open source projects, and then it's like removing that one small support,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Michael, that's not saying I'm against open source at all. No, it's an interesting discussion, Michael, because especially the more this stuff, and here I am again getting on my enterprise adoption for Kubernetes soapbox, but the more big enterprises adopt this sort of stuff, the more this sort of stuff is a concern. But then, if the enterprises are adopting this stuff, is it that big a deal that Linkerd did what they did, because they're going to pay for subscription and licensing and support regardless?
Mm-hmm.
I think
it's more a problem for the little folks, the smaller entities and outfits, right?
Well, to be fair, the primary pain point is that if you're now massively depending on Linkerd and you've got 300 people in your company, then what does that mean? I think that's one of the first,
$2,000 a month per cluster is what that means, which is quite high, but it is a business at the end of the day. They have to make money to support the open source stuff.
There's Mr. Strand, long time no speak, Robert. So you can't graduate projects through the CNCF without a healthy set of contributions from more than one company. Reality is that it usually is mostly one company behind these projects, but that's a different topic. Okay, fair enough. But what if you're a graduated company, as in the case of Linkerd, and then suddenly you change? Is there regulations and bylaws or what? I'm missing the word for this, but is there a process within CNCF graduated projects that goes, well, actually, you're now not backed by a community or a healthy set of community contributions from more than one company? So what does that actually mean?
Yeah. Good question.
So I mean, I know that the projects have to go through an audit process every year, I think, right? Or maybe I'm making that up. I could well be making that up. But I mean, it's interesting. Obviously, the Terraform stuff from a few months back didn't directly affect the CNCF landscape. This Linkerd decision does. What does that? I guess the unanswered questions are: what does that mean for CNCF projects as a landscape as a whole, and is that really the direction that we're going? When for a long time we've been telling folks to embrace open source, embrace the community, and the is that really in keeping with that? And here's me saying it again. I like this phrase, but the same team, different company quote from Kelsey Hightower. Is that still in keeping with that thinking or that culture?
Well, I think the most positive thing is that, I mean, we're seeing it in chat and we're discussing it. And I mean, if you look on social media, everyone is talking about something related to this.
Yep.
People do care, and whether it's going left or right doesn't matter. There's a community that cares and looks after this stuff. So I think that's the positive side of things. We do see everyone cares, and it's not just one big company or enterprise doing it, and we all have to accept it. I think it's good. It's good to have these discussions as well.
Robert's just put in a nice comment here. He's seen projects being removed because they have not had enough companies behind them. So now maybe Linkerd is going this route. They're going to lose these other companies, and maybe they will be removed. Something to keep an eye on.
I hope not, because the technology in the project adds to the ecosystem, right? And there is that question about how this comment from Michael. There is this question about it costs money to develop open source, and if people are doing it as hobby projects, then it's not going to get the time that it requires for big businesses or even small businesses to use them as production. So it takes a group of companies to be contributing financially and with money and FTE to support these projects. And maybe that's why Linkerd made their decision. Maybe it was too expensive to keep supporting this in the same model, and licensing is the way to fix that.
Hey, and someone's got to pay the bills, right? I mean, I don't work for free.
No, and that, I mean, I'm not saying we're not coming down on this is wrong or this is right. I mean, what the concern, and this is maybe me taking it to the extreme. The comment I made off stream or off air was that we don't really want to be getting down to the WinRAR days where it's freeware, but it bugs the absolute out of you every 5 minutes to purchase it. Have you purchased a license?
Why are you going to say a WinRAR?
Yes, I mean that's
every log message says, "Have you purchased a license?"
This is me being ridiculous, but we don't want to get to the stage where this stuff is so stripped back that the only way to actually use it properly is to pay for it, because a lot of businesses just can't afford that.
No. Which is why I do like the model some of these clouds are using now. So like AKS and EKS, so AWS and Amazon, they use these open source projects, but they sort of have them as add-ons and they give back to them. So they have the FTEs given back their time to ensure that they stay open source and part of the CNCF. And then we get support through these companies, so it's quite good in that way. And if more companies did that and adopted these projects, maybe we wouldn't see more of these big, heavy licenses coming in.
So I know we're really pushing for time here, and I have a call in 3 minutes. So, shall we? So it just got dropped in. So, shall we just quickly chat about what Robert is saying there, and then we'll briefly touch on our last discussion point. But
we can do that next week. I mean,
When I screw the demo up next week, we can discuss.
I'm going to call you on Thursday, and I want to see.
How you doing, Karl?
Yeah, show me the demo.
show me the demo. But I mean, Robert's saying, obviously, Chris, I'm not even going to try and pronounce the surname. I've publicly said that there's nothing inherently wrong with what Linkerd did. I'd be interested to see what this statement is then.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, it's still technically open source. Sorry, Richard, let me put that away. It's still technically open source if you want to go and compile it and build it yourself. But then that brings an administrative overhead of knowing how to do that and knowing what commits and releases and stuff to pay attention to and all the rest of it. So
there's a good link to read about this.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, and just going to end on this. Maybe we're going to find some company is going to create an open Linkerd
and call it something random like Open Tofu.
Yeah. So that could happen as well. It's just something to keep an eye out for.
All right. There's also a question from Mohammed in the chat. Let me see. Where is that?
That one there? Good question. We should probably do a show about that to answer that, because that's going to be
10 minutes at least.
Yeah. So we'll keep that. We'll add that to the calendar and the planning, and we'll let you know when we do that one.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right.
Robert's name. Christmas. Love it, Robert.
Sounds good to me. Let's trademark that, right?
Yeah. Cool. I guess
All
with
right.
that, Carl, because you've got your meeting starting pretty much now, we better leave it here.
25 seconds
Yeah.
ago. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
It's
Thank
been a
you.
good. It's been a
Sorry,
good show.
Carl's customers. Sorry.
Good. It's internal. It's been a good show. It's been a really good discussion.
Yeah.
Apologies for those who tuned in to see some harbor, and some
week.
really bad ship and sailing puns. But tune in next week, and guaranteed they'll be even worse. So
I'm gonna think of some. All right. Have a good
Cheers,
day,
everyone.
everyone. Thank you for joining. Cheers.
see you later.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Bye.